The sun had just set on the quiet desert moon of Ravik 7. The skies were deep purple, and the stars blinked through the thin atmosphere. Eli Sparks, a young human engineer, lived alone in a small outpost dome filled with tools, scrap metal, and half-built machines. He liked silence, machines, and the smell of hot circuits. Life was simple here. He fixed old tech, rode his hoverbike, and avoided trouble, but trouble came anyway. A loud boom echoed across the land. Eli dropped his wrench and rushed outside. In the sky, a ball of fire streaked across the horizon, crashing into the rocky hills behind his dome. The impact shook the ground. "A ship," he whispered. "And it's not one of ours." Eli jumped on his hoverbike, a sleek, silver machine he had built himself from earth junk and alien parts. It hovered just above the ground and responded like it was part of his own body. In seconds, he sped across the sand toward the crash. Sight. When he reached it, he found a small alien ship, twisted and smoking. Panels were blown open and sparks flew from inside. He moved carefully, checking for radiation or traps. Then he saw her, a girl, not human. She lay on the ground, unconscious, with cuts on her glowing blue skin. Her hair floated slightly, as if gravity didn't fully touch her. Strange silver implants glowed on her neck and arms. In her hand she held a crystal disc, clutched tightly like it was her life. Eli looked around. No sign of others? No attackers. Just her. Without wasting time, he lifted her gently and placed her on the back of his hoverbike. The ship behind them hissed and groaned, threatening to explode. He rode fast, feeling her light body leaning against his back, her arm accidentally around his waist. Back at his dome, Eli worked quickly. He cleaned her wounds, gave her oxygen, and connected his tablet to her implants. Her vitals were stable. She was breathing. "She's not like any alien I've seen," he muttered. For hours he stayed awake, monitoring her. Then, just before dawn, her eyes opened. They were large and violet, full of confusion and focus at the same time. She sat up quickly, then winced. "You're safe," Eli said gently. "You crashed. I brought you here." She looked at him, tilted her head, and then looked around the room. Her eyes locked on his hoverbike, parked just inside the dome near the wall. Her voice came out soft and robotic, like someone learning how to speak. "I need that thing between your legs, again, human." Eli blinked. What?" She pointed at the hoverbike. The flying machine?" "You were riding it. I need it again. Please." Eli laughed, not to make fun of her, but from surprise. "The hoverbike? You like that?" She nodded quickly, her face bright. "It moves like nothing from my world. Fast, free, I have to ride it again. I must understand how it works." He scratched his head. "Most aliens don't even look twice at that thing." "It's old Earth tech. I just rebuilt it with scraps." She stood, wobbling slightly, and walked toward the bike like she was drawn to it. "It is dutiful. I am called Scifi, daughter of the Thalakari stars. What is your name, human?" "Eli Sparks," he said. "Engineer and hoverbike enthusiast, I guess." Scifi walked around the bike, touching its curves with wonder. "You made this from human parts?" "Mostly," Eli replied. "Some alien bits, sure. But the engine core, balance matrix, all human design, Earth tech." She looked amazed. "They told us human machines were outdated, primitive. I was taught humans destroy, not create." "Nice to know we're still famous," Eli said with a smirk. Suddenly, Scifi froze. Her implants blinked red. She grabbed Eli's wrist tightly. "They'll come. They're already tracking the relic I stole." "You must hide it. Hide me, please." Eli's smile faded. "Who's coming?" "The Purge Wardens. They don't allow anyone to steal Forbidden's data, and I did. It's in the crystal I carry. I had to do it. I had to show the truth." Eli looked at the crystal in her hand. It pulsed with faint blue light. Whatever it wasn't normal data. "Why me?" he asked. "Why come here?" "Because Earth tech is not dead," she said. "It's alive in you, in that machine. And I need that thing between your legs again, human, to help me run faster than they can find us." Eli looked at his hoverbike. And then at her dot he had no idea what he was getting into, but deep down he knew. This was the start of something. Big dot the morning light on Ravik 7 was soft and golden. The sky above the desert outpost turned from deep purple to a pale blue. Eli Sparks stood outside his dome, hands on his hips, watching Zelfi as she inspected his hoverbike with wide eyes and pure excitement. For someone who nearly died just hours ago, the alien girl looked full of life now. Her glowing skin shimmered in the sun. Her silver implants blinked in slow patterns, and her hair floated softly behind her as if touched by invisible wind. "You said you built this?" she asked, pointing at the engine of the hoverbike. "From scratch," Eli said proudly. "Took me 6 months. Earth parts, alien scraps, my own wiring system." Zelfi crouched beside the bike like a scientist studying a wild creature. "Your world. It creates beauty with broken things?" Eli chuckled. "That's humans for you. We fix what others throw away." She stood up quickly. "I want to ride it again." Eli raised an eyebrow. "You're still recovering. Maybe you should rest." Zelfi shook her head. "You're a machine. It's not just fun, it's more. When I rode with you last night, I felt something ... freedom, speed. It unlocked something in me." "Unlocked?" Eli asked. "I don't have the right word. On my world, we don't move like that. No air bikes, no personal rides. Everything is controlled, organized. Boring." Eli smiled. "Well, you're on Ravik 7 now, and this old thing?" He patted the hoverbike. "It doesn't follow rules." Zelfi's eyes sparkled. "Then teach me." Eli sighed, then grinned. "Fine, but no crashing. I don't want to pull you out of a crater again." Over the next few hours, Eli gave Zelfi a quick lesson. She picked it up faster than anyone he'd ever met. Her reflexes were sharp, and her mind seemed to understand mechanical systems instantly. At first, she wobbled and floated too high. But by the third round, she was circling the dome in perfect loops, leaving trails of dust behind her. "She's a natural," Eli whispered to himself. Zelfi returned with a wide smile. "This is the greatest thing I have ever experienced." "I must have one," Eli laughed. "One? Do you plan to start a hoverbike gang?" She pointed at the engine. "If you help me, I can build one. I learn fast." "I noticed," Eli said, a little impressed. "But why are you so interested in this? You're an alien with implants and high-tech ships. Isn't this too low-tech for you?" Zelfi shook her head. "No, this is real. Our machines are cold. Perfect, controlled. Yours are alive, wild. I never felt this way back home." Eli sat down on a metal crate. "So ... what exactly were you running from? Why were you carrying that crystal?" Zelfi's face became serious. She sat beside him. "The crystal contains something Earth created long ago, a secret your people never knew was taken, a fusion core algorithm. It's a design for a small, clean power system, endless energy. No fuel, no pollution." Eli blinked. "Wait, you mean free energy? That's real?" "Yes," she said. "But long ago, when your people were still reaching for the stars, others, like mine, stole it. They buried it. Said it was dangerous, but I found it in the archives and escaped." "Why?" Eli asked. "Why risk your life for it?" "Because the galaxy is broken," she replied. "Millions suffer without power. My own people are told to obey, not think. But humans, you build, you imagine, you take risks. I believe the stories were lies, and you proved me right." Eli was silent. The weight of her words sank in slowly. "You said they're coming," he said finally. "The Purge Wardens?" Zelfi nodded. "Yes, machines with one mission. Erase anything forbidden, and anyone who carries it." Eli stood up. "Then we need to move. You can't stay here." "We'll both be targets." "But I don't want to hide," she said. "I want to fight back." "With you?" Eli looked at her, a glowing alien girl who loved his bike and trusted his human hands. He felt something stir in him, not romance. "Not yet, but something stronger. Purpose. Then we'll need better gear," he said. "If they're hunting you, we fight them the human way." Zelfi's eyes narrowed in excitement. "With your tools?" "With my tools. And my hoverbike and maybe a few surprises." That night, they worked side by side in the dome. Scifi helped Eli upgrade the engine. They reinforced the outer shell with shielded alloys. She even added a stolen alien tracker jammer. Eli shared old Earth music with her as they worked. She said it made her heart beat faster. They were two people from two worlds, but in that moment they were just creators, dreamers, rebels. And when Scifi looked at the hoverbike again, she whispered with a grin, "I still need that thing." "Between your legs, human," Eli rolled his eyes. "You really need to work on your phrasing." The desert winds of Ravik 7 had picked up by evening. Dust blew softly across the dunes, and the skies were turning from blue to a rusty orange. Inside the dome, Eli Sparks and Scifi were putting the final touches on the hoverbike. Now it was faster, stronger, and protected by alien shields. It still looked like a junk machine from a scrapyard, but beneath the surface, it was a fusion of Earth invention and Thalakari intelligence. Eli wiped the sweat from his forehead. "She's ready," Scifi smiled. "Good, because they're coming." Eli looked up. "Now?" Scifi's implants blinked rapidly. "They've entered this system. I can feel the signal. The Purge Wardens have found me." Just as she finished her sentence, a sharp, strange filled the air outside. It was not like thunder or wind. It was a cold, deep sound, almost mechanical. Eli rushed out of the dome. In the sky above, a black needle-shaped craft floated down slowly. Its surface didn't reflect light. It just absorbed it. The ship made no sound except that low hum. It landed 100 meters from the dome. Then it opened. A tall, thin figure stepped out, part machine, part armor. Its face was a metal mask with no eyes, just a glowing red line. Its long arms ended in strange tools, scanners, claws, maybe weapons. It walked forward in perfect silence. Scifi joined Eli outside. She didn't speak. She only stared. The warden's voice came like a whisper, but it filled the air around them. "Surrender the relic." Eli took a step forward. "She's under my protection." The warden turned its head slightly. "You are human. This does not concern you. She's not hurting anyone. She just wants to share knowledge." "That's not a crime," Eli said. Firmly, possession of forbidden data is a galactic offense. Interference with correction will lead to deletion. Scifi stepped beside Eli. "Then you'll have to catch us first." Without warning, she jumped onto the hoverbike. "Eli, now!" Eli leaped onto the front seat. The hoverbike roared to life with a burst of blue light. Dust flew as the bike shot forward, faster than ever before. The warden moved too, firing a beam from its hand. The sand behind them exploded, but the bike was already gone, weaving between rocks, climbing up a canyon wall, and disappearing over the ridge. The chase had begun. The black ship lifted off and followed. It was faster than any fighter Eli had seen, but his bike was smaller, lighter, and agile. The narrow canyons gave him an advantage. "Where are we going?" Scifi shouted over the wind. "There's a power station, old and abandoned." 10 clicks east," Eli shouted. "Plenty of cover." The warden's ship launched 2 drones. They spun through the air like silent hawks, scanning, tracking, hunt drone, fired. A blue pulse hit the back of the bike, shaking it. The shields flickered. Scifi tapped a device on her wrist. Deploying mirror field. The bike shimmered for a moment and then vanished, not truly invisible, but hidden from scans. The drones slowed. Confused, searching. Eli guided the bike behind an old fuel tank near the station ruins. They stopped, both breathing hard. Scifi looked at him. "You saved me again." Eli checked the damage. "We're not done yet. That thing won't give up." As if hearing him, the warden's ship descended fast. It landed in the open space near the old power station. Then the machine stepped out again, slowly scanning the ruins. Scifi whispered, "We can't run forever, but maybe we can stop it." Eli nodded. "We've got tools. We've got brains. Let's trap it." They moved quickly. Eli connected old power coils to unstable battery packs. Scifi used a signal scrambler to lure the warden closer. She dropped the fusion crystal inside a hollow metal shell and placed it in plain sight. The warden detected it. and moved toward the trap dot as it reached out a long arm to take the decoy. Zap! The ground beneath it lit up with a blinding electric pulse. Coils exploded. The energy blast knocked the warden back, system sparking. It wasn't destroyed, but damaged. Slower now, Scifi jumped onto the bike. Let's go before it recovers. Eli gunned the engine. The bike blasted off into the sunset, leaving a smoking, angry warden behind. That night, they returned to the dome, tired but alive. Scifi looked at Eli, her voice softer than before. No one's ever fought for me like that. Eli shrugged. You're not just some alien with a fancy crystal. You're a person. You matter, she smiled. So does your bike, Eli smirked. Still thinking about that thing between my legs? Scifi laughed. Yes, but now I want one of my own. Eli looked out at the stars. The danger wasn't over. The warden would return stronger. But for now, they had hope, they had each other, and they had a hoverbike that could outrun fate. The stars above Ravik 7 were quiet again, but the silence felt temporary, like the calm before a new storm. Inside the dome, Eli Sparks sat at his workbench, staring at the crystal relic that had caused everything. It was warm to the touch and pulsed with a soft blue glow. Scifi stood beside him, watching with sharp, curious eyes. It looks simple, Eli said. But this thing's more advanced than anything I've seen. Scifi nodded. That's because it holds the power to change everything. Eli connected the relic to his old data reader using wires he had modified. The screen flashed and filled with unreadable symbols, alien text, swirling like water. It's encrypted, Eli muttered. I can translate it, Scifi said. Her fingers moved across her wrist console. The implant near her temple blinked. Symbols on the screen started shifting into basic shapes and diagrams. Eli leaned forward. Wait, this is a fusion core design? Yes, she replied. But not a large one. This is for a miniature core clean endless energy that could fit inside a ship, a home, even a bike. Eli stared at the lines of code. If this works, you'd never need fuel again. That's why it was buried, Scifi said. It would end fuel empires. Power would be free. Control would be lost. Eli looked up. So your people erased this, just to keep power? Scifi looked away. Not just mine, other galactic powers too. They fear freedom, Eli sat back. The thought was heavy. Earth had always struggled for energy. Wars had been fought over it. And here, in his hands, was a key that could have changed history. Why bring it here? He asked. Scifi turned to him. Because humans are different. You build without permission. You try things even when told not to. And you have nothing to lose. Eli smiled faintly. That's one way to describe us. She leaned closer. You understand machines, Eli. You care. That's rare. I didn't just choose Earth Tech because it's strange. I chose it because it's alive. He nodded. So what now? We can't. Just keep this hidden forever. Scifi sat down beside him. I want to finish decoding it, then we send it out. To who? Eli asked. We can't trust the big councils. Not to them, she said. To the people? To the engineers? To the thinkers? If we open source it across the systems, they can't erase it. Eli whistled. You want to start a tech revolution. Scifi smiled. Isn't that what humans do best? The next few days were quiet but full of work. The Purge Warden had not returned yet, likely damaged and recalibrating. That gave Eli and Scifi time. Together, they decoded the fusion core. Design, Eli adjusted the formatting so it could be read by standard machines. Scifi rewrote parts in different galactic languages. Falakari, Onyxian, Trader Code. They ran tests using small devices. When they powered a broken heating unit, using a tiny mock core, Eli laughed in disbelief. It works. Scifi grinned. It works. In celebration, they sat on the roof of the dome, sharing a drink of recycled berry juice and watching a small meteor shower streak across the sky. Scifi looked thoughtful. You know, where I come from, I was just a technician. Quiet. Always. Followed rules. And now? Eli asked. Now I'm riding stolen hoverbikes and planning galactic data drops, she said with a proud smile. You've changed. You helped me change. They sat in silence for a moment, then Eli said, "You changed me too. I've never cared about anything beyond my workshop, but now I want more." Zelfi nodded slowly. "That's what this tech is about. Giving. More. To everyone." Later that night, Zelfi activated her long-range signal pinger. "We can't upload the file from here. The signal's too weak." "There's a tower on the edge of the canyon," Eli said. "Old comm station. Might still work." Zelfi stood. "Then we go tomorrow." "It's risky," Eli warned. "If the warden comes back, then we finish what we started," she said calmly. "I'm not hiding anymore." Eli looked at her, glowing softly in the dim light, eyes full of purpose. She was no longer just an alien girl lost on a desert moon. She was a spark, ready to start a fire, before bed. Zelfi stood by the hoverbike, running her hand along its frame. "I still need that thing between your legs again, human," she said with a small grin. Eli rolled his eyes and laughed. "One of these days you're going to learn what that sounds like." Zelfi looked confused. "Sounds like what?" "Never mind," Eli chuckled. "Let's just make sure it's ready to outrun fate again," she smiled. "With you riding it, we have nothing to fear." The next morning, the sky above Ravik 7 was clear, but the air felt tense. Eli Sparks and Zelfi stood at the edge of the rocky canyon. In the distance, the old communication tower rose from the ground like a metal tree, rusty but still standing. "That tower should boost the signal," Eli said, pointing. "We can send the fusion core file across dozens of star systems from there." Zelfi nodded. She held the crystal tightly. "Once it's out there, no one can stop it. People will build. People will question." Eli looked around. "And people in power will panic." They climbed onto the hoverbike together. Eli at the front, Zelfi behind him, and started the engine. The bike lifted off the ground with a familiar hum, and they flew low through the canyon toward the tower, but they didn't get far. A sharp sound cut through the air like metal slicing metal. Suddenly, beams of red light formed a net in the sky. A portal opened above them, glowing blue, and a strange energy pulled them upward. "Trap!" Zelfi shouted before they could escape. The hoverbike froze in midair. The world around them disappeared in a flash of white light. When Eli woke up, he was no longer on Ravik 7. He was inside a bright, silent chamber. The walls were smooth and silver. Soft lights glowed above him. Zelfi stood beside him, her hands bound by light cuffs. "Where are we?" Eli asked. Zelfi looked around. "A mobile court." "The Thalakari High Chamber." "They must have tracked the crystal's signal," a robotic voice echoed from the walls. "You are held under Galactic Law 09B, theft of restricted data, interference with interstellar order. Prepare for trial." Eli frowned. "A trial? For what? Helping someone survive?" "They don't care about survival," Zelfi said. "They care about control." A section of the wall opened, and they were pulled into a large courtroom, or something like it. Strange alien beings sat in floating chairs all around them. In the center, a tall silver figure spoke. It had no face, just a glowing circle on its head. "You have broken sacred rules," it said. "You, Zelfi of Thalakari, have stolen classified technology. And you, human, have helped her." Eli stepped forward. "Wait a second. She didn't steal it to harm anyone. She took it to help people, all people." "You speak without permission," the silver judge said. Zelfi raised her voice. "Let him speak. Let them all hear the truth." The judge paused, then nodded. "Very well. Speak, human." Eli took a breath. He looked around at the watchers, leaders, officials, maybe enemies. "I don't come from a powerful world," Eli began. "I'm just a guy who fixes machines on a desert moon. I didn't ask for this. But when she crashed near my home, I helped her, because that's what humans do." The crowd murmured. "She showed me this crystal," Eli said, holding it up. "It contains a fusion design, a small, clean power system, the kind that could end suffering across planets. You buried it, hid it. Why?" No one answered. "Are you afraid people will be free? Afraid they'll stop depending on you?" He asked. "You think hiding knowledge is safety, but real safety. Comey's from trust, not fear." Zelfi stepped forward. "I was one of you?" I followed every rule, but I learned something new. Humans, they are builders. Dreamers, they don't give up. And I believe their fire, their creativity, can light up the stars. The crowd was silent. Then, from one of the chairs, a deep voice spoke. "Show us proof." Zelfi smiled and signaled toward a floating screen. A recording played, her hoverbike flight, the chase with the purge warden, the sharp turns, the clever escape. Machines working in perfect harmony with human-made tech. The crowd leaned forward, watching in awe. "This is what you fear?" Zelfi asked. "This is what you hide from the galaxy?" The judge stared at the video for a long moment. Then it spoke. "You are free to go." Eli blinked. "What? You may leave? But you are warned. The information must remain hidden." Zelfi held the crystal tighter. "We understand." They were taken back to their chamber. The light cuffs vanished. Within minutes, they were dropped on the edge of Ravik 7, safe. But watched back at the dome. Eli sat quietly, staring at the crystal. "We promised we wouldn't spread it," he said. "But we didn't promise not to inspire," Zelfi replied. Eli smiled. "You're thinking what I'm thinking?" Zelfi nodded. "We upload the design, not through their systems, but through the people's open networks, underground channels. We'll be hunted." "Maybe," Zelfi said. "But I'd rather be hunted with you than hidden alone." They looked at the hoverbike, now a symbol of everything they believed in. Zelfi whispered, "I still need that thing between your legs, human." Eli grinned. "Let's go light the galaxy on fire." 2. Days had passed since Eli Sparks and Zelfi returned to Ravik 7. The desert moon looked the same, dry, quiet, and peaceful. But something had changed. Inside Eli's dome, the old workshop was alive with energy. Screens glowed. Tools clicked, wires ran across the floor like vines. But the most important thing was on the center table, the fusion. Core file, now translated into 7 languages and ready for release. "We did it," Eli said, leaning back. "Now we just need to send it out." Zelfi nodded. "Once we upload this, it will spread through the underground networks. Every free tech station, rebel ship, and secret channel will have it. They won't be able to stop it." Zelfi smiled softly. "Are you ready, human?" Eli pressed the button. The file disappeared from the screen. A second later, a soft message blinked on the interface. Uploaded to 63 decentralized channels. It was done. They looked at each other. Silent for a moment. "That was easy," Eli said. "The hard part is surviving what comes next." Zelfi replied. Within hours, signs of the file's impact began to appear. Eli's small satellite dish picked up pirate broadcasts from nearby sectors. They were excited, shocked, curious. The fusion core design had reached them. One voice said, "This can power a whole colony, with no fuel, no cost." Another added, "Earth tech, human-made, it's brilliant." Then came the questions. Who shared this? Where? Did it come from? Can we trust it? And finally, #HFY, humanity for your future. Zelfi raised her eyebrow. "Did you make that tag?" Eli shrugged. Seemed catchy. Soon, people from across different worlds began sending replies, videos, and schematics. Someone already tried building a prototype in a mining station. Another used it to fix an old freighter. "It's spreading faster than I thought," Eli said. Zelfi nodded. The galaxy was ready. They just needed a spark. But not everyone was happy. The next morning, a message arrived, a warning from a hidden ally inside the Thalakari Council. "You broke your promise. The data is out. They're sending Purge Warden units, 3 of them. Coming your way, hide. Run or fight." Eli looked at Zelfi. "We can't stop now." Zelfi didn't flinch. "We won't." They began preparations. Zelfi modified the hoverbike again, adding an advanced cloaking pulse. Eli set up traps around the dome, MPM. Charges, sonic jammers, smoke grenades. The old workshop became a battle-ready bunker. "I never thought I'd fight machines from another planet," Eli said. Zelfi smirked. "I never thought I'd meet a human who could build better tech than my teachers." Eli pointed at the bike. "What about that cloaking system? Does it actually work?" "Let's test it." She climbed onto the hoverbike, activated the pulse, and disappeared from sight. Eli blinked. Whoa! A second later she reappeared in front of him, grinning. Told you, works perfectly. You really are addicted to this thing, Eli said. It's not just the bike, she said. It's what it stands for. Later that night, as stars lit up the sky, Scifi sat on the dome's roof. Looking up, I was raised to follow rules, she said. My world believed order was more important than freedom. And now? Now I know freedom is worth the fight, Eli joined her. You were brave to steal that file, but braver to trust a stranger with it. Scifi looked at him. You weren't a stranger. You fixed machines with care. You helped me without asking anything in return. That's more powerful than any weapon. They sat in silence. In the distance, thunder rumbled, but it wasn't from a storm. The wardens are coming, Eli said. Scifi stood up. Then let's give them a welcome they'll never forget. The next morning, the sky cracked open. 3 black ships appeared, slicing through the clouds. They moved in perfect formation. From each ship, a warden dropped, tall, silent, and dangerous. Their sensors scanned the land. Inside the dome, Eli checked the monitors. They're heading straight for us. Scifi pulled on her gear. It's time. They rushed outside. Eli hit the first switch. An EMP charge exploded near the rocks, blinding the first warden. Scifi, on the hoverbike, shot forward, her cloaking pulse active. She zipped past the second warden and dropped a disruptor. Mine behind her. The mine exploded. The second warden stumbled, losing balance. Eli fired his blaster, aiming at the legs of the third. Come on, come on. Scifi looped around. Eli, jump on. He leapt onto the hoverbike behind her, and together they soared across the canyon. The wardens followed, but the traps worked. Smoke, noise, energy bursts, all made to confuse machines. By the time the last warden aimed at them, Scifi flew straight at it and activated the final pulse core. A wave of energy blasted outward, shutting down all 3 wardens at once. They fell like statues. Eli and Scifi landed on the cliff. Dust rose around them. We did it, Eli whispered. Scifi grinned. And the galaxy is already changing. Back at the dome, messages poured in. The file had reached over 400 locations. New versions were being built. New voices were rising. Earth tech, simple, strong, and free, was inspiring the stars. Eli looked at his hoverbike and smiled. Not bad for something between my legs, huh? Scifi laughed. The greatest thing I ever rode. They both knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. A quiet wind moved across the deserts of Ravik 7. But the world had changed. Weeks had passed since Eli Sparks and Scifi took down the 3 purge wardens. The fusion core design had now spread across hundreds of planets. Colonies, mining stations, even space freighters were building clean energy systems. And everywhere people shared them, they added the same words, #HFY humanity for your future. Eli had no idea those 4 letters would carry so far. The dome was now more than just a workshop. It had become a secret hub for rebels, engineers, and dreamers from different species. Messages arrived daily. Some offered thanks. Some asked for help. Others wanted to join the cause. And Scifi had become a symbol. The alien who freed the fire, but she didn't act like a leader. She still rode the hoverbike every morning, still worked on machines with greasy hands, and still smiled whenever Eli fixed something broken. One evening, after a long day of helping a trader install a mini fusion core, Eli found Scifi sitting on the dome's roof again. The stars look different, she said quietly. Eli sat beside her. They're the same stars, maybe, but now I see them with hope. They watched the sky in silence. A ship flew across the upper clouds, a cargo freighter running on one of the fusion cores. Eli pointed toward it, another one. You see that? Powered by something we shared. Scifi smiled. We did it. You started it, Eli said. I just gave you a bike. She looked at him. That bike saved my life, Eli laughed. You're never gonna stop talking about that, are you? Never. The next day, a message came from a hidden part of the Thalakari system, not from the government, but from students. Curious, brave, and excited. We found your file. We built a working core. It runs everything in our school now. They tried to shut us down, but we showed them. And they couldn't stop all of us. Zelfi's eyes filled with emotion. I used to study at a place like that. I followed rules, memorized codes, but I never questioned them. And now? Eli asked. Now? I question everything. Despite all the good, dangers still existed. New machines, new enemies, and new leaders who feared change. One night, a small scout drone landed near the dome, sent from a neutral planet. It carried a short message. They won't stop. Be careful, but keep going. Zelfi turned to Eli. We can't stay here forever. Eli knew she was right. Ravik 7 had been their home, but the fire was now bigger than this dusty moon. The galaxy needed more than messages. It needed movement. Then we go mobile, Eli said. Turn this hoverbike into something bigger. Zelfi raised an eyebrow. A flying lab? More like a flying forge, Eli said. Where we build and teach and ride across the stars, she laughed. Now that sounds like an adventure. In the next few days, they modified the hoverbike into a compact two-person. Flyer, faster, stronger, and shielded. It had solar panels, a built-in translator, and enough tools to fix almost anything. Zelfi called it Starfire 1. Before they left, they wrote a message and left it inside the dome. To anyone who finds this place, take what you need. Build, share, ride freely, signed one human engineer and one curious alien girl. They took off at sunrise, the desert glowing orange behind them. Months passed. Eli and Zelfi flew across small planets, hidden colonies and broken stations. They helped fix failing systems, taught kids how to build things, left behind copies of the fusion core design and hope everywhere they went. People recognized the sound of their strange little ship, powered by human spirit and alien curiosity. Sometimes they were welcomed, sometimes they were chased, but they always escaped. Together. One night, after helping a desert village power their water pumps, Zelfi sat beside a small fire and looked at Eli. You know what I miss? She asked. What? That first ride on your old bike? Eli smiled. The one where you called it that thing between my legs? Zelfi chuckled. I didn't know what it meant. You still say it. Because it makes you laugh. They both laughed quietly. Then she added, that bike wasn't just a machine. It was freedom. It was our beginning. Eli nodded. And now look at us, flying across space, fixing broken stars. She took his hand. Thank you, Eli. For what? For showing me that the smallest machine, and the quietest human, can change the biggest galaxy. Somewhere far away in the dark corners of space, someone read their shared file for the first time, and another spark was born.